I love you now, but you have to understand there was a time that I could hold you and you couldn't talk to me. Hello, welcome to Middle-Aged Millennial MILF Podcast. I am here with Amanda Traylor, also June Patrick, right? Is that your only pen name?
Currently, yes.
Yes, Amanda, my partner in crime in Vegas, sister from another mother. Is that the saying?
All the things. Yeah, I think so.
Things, yes.
It's the same for us. Yeah.
I instantly was like, her. Like, I don't know. I get like that with people. I'm like, that's my person.
Well,
like, you can just tell
like,
energy.
Mine.
That's it.
She's
I was
mine.
like, she's my person. I want her to be my person. I'd be blessed to have her be my person. So,
Feelings mutual.
So lucky to have you on here.
Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. I know we've had to reschedule, so I'm excited to make it on. We tried to do this like right after Author Nation, and of course, like
technology. It's not our strong suit.
Yeah. So
not our strong suit. So we're here. We're here. We still remember Vegas. We didn't do anything too crazy there.
Could never forget.
I don't remember a lot about our lunch that one day when I was drinking.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I was so embarrassed. We were at a performance for all of our kids, and I apparently had just started sending them pictures of myself in the mom group chat about the kids, and I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I had a champagne lunch. They're like...
As it turns out, champagne lunch at the Paris plus Sarah equals a good time.
Equals, you guys were getting pictures of me like it wasn't good. Like, I don't even know what I was doing. And I've been craving pink champagne ever since, and I was like, no, don't do it.
Well... Cheers to you. I brought mine to the party.
Thank God for you. Here's what I'll do. I'll save all my drinking for when I'm with you.
Okay.
Then it's acceptable.
Fair. That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Then your husband can really think I'm a bad influence.
He loves you. Honest to God. Genuinely. I mean that so hard. Like, he is like, I love Amanda and she's great. And like, we'll just be sitting there and he's like, I don't know why people don't like her. This is really fucking stupid. I don't like being in this position.
Wait, there are people who don't like me, Sarah? What?
There are people that fucking don't like me either. And okay, then let's just jump into it. Has this been something you've had through your whole life as well? People just not liking you for being you?
Yes. I would say, growing up, I was a nerdy kid. I was a booky kid, there's a reason I became an author. So I was always kind of a nerd retreating into a book, and I was academic. And I definitely did not know how to dress myself for a very long time. So yeah, I mean, I definitely kind of grew up, I could be the target of the mean girls, and it ebbs and flows. I would say there have been times in my life where everything's been good, but I find that, and I've sort of learned, I'm now over 40 and I think I know myself a little better. I've learned that when these things start to happen, when I start to feel that mean girl energy or the trolls are coming, I'm usually on the moment of a breakthrough of something really good happening in my life. And not just career related, but I've had moments where I've lost, about 10 years ago, I went through a big life change and I lost all of my close friends. And it was really painful in the moment, but then you realize it was really just kind of clearing the path for me to really like rapidly change my life in a way that was like incredible. And I think this year I've sort of had this, as you know, Sarah, there's been kind of a resurgence in some of this mean girl energy. I say mean girls, sometimes it's mean boys too, but just some of the haters, some of the trolls. And, but the truth is I've had a really breakout year professionally and a lot of personal growth. And I see this pattern that I'm now starting to not see it as such a bad thing. I'm like, oh, if the trolls are coming, that means I'm on the precipice of something really great, or bringing new people into my life, like you, and leveling up in a different way. And so I'm just saying, like, cheers.
Well, that's it. Are you a Libra?
I'm a Capricorn, but I'm a Libra moon.
Okay, I was going to say, because Libra is it's the scales. So I'm I'm with you, a same like frame of mind. I'm like, okay, the bad stuff's happening. What is coming that's going to be so good? Yeah. Because the universe has to balance itself out. And I think that's really...
Sometimes I think it has to clear your plate, clear your path, like clear your mental clutter, all those things. So,
and things are just doing amazing for you, right? Let's talk about June Patrick. I mean, I saw people at your table were like loving it. It was
Thank
adorable. I
you.
loved the setup.
Thank you. It's been really cute. So, for those of you who don't know me, I wrote thrillers under Amanda for a number of years. And then during the pandemic, I made the switch. I had a baby during the pandemic and the world was dark enough. And I kind of needed something a little lighter in my world. I had this newborn baby and the world was falling apart. And I was really missing travel. So I started writing these kind of lighthearted, feel good, like travel rom-coms under June Patrick. And I think the world agreed that that's what they needed because it really took off almost immediately in a way that I had never done before in my career. So actually, I started writing them during the pandemic, but I published the first one in 2023. And it's been just a roller coaster ever since. And this year was amazing. I signed a book deal with Simon and Schuster, which, yeah, actually, like two of their imprints, so like Atria and then Simon Maverick, their audiobook imprint. So I have kind of two book deals with Simon and Schuster this year. And yeah, I've been overwhelmed with the response from readers who they find me, I go to something like the Reader Nation book signing. And I'm sitting across from Sylvia Day. We've got all these incredible authors surrounding me and people are coming up and like, I love your books. I follow you on, Instagram or this and that. I'm like, me? Really? It's been a really surreal and I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude for it.
Well, and yours is such a fun concept. If you think about it, it would be easy to turn that even into more of a moneymaker. Like, you sell tickets into a girls' trip with June Patrick to Italy.
Yeah, it really has opened itself up to this kind of real lifestyle. I don't want to say like I'm a lifestyle brand, but I think a lot of people who are they're readers, but they're also people who love to travel. They love food. They love just sort of the aesthetic because all the books take place, in a different country. So it's Italy or France or wherever. And the concept's always pretty similar. It's like an American woman finds herself in Italy for some reason, and then she falls in love and never comes back to the real world. And I think especially right now, there are a lot of people craving that. And so you get people who are like, oh, I was always wanted to go to Italy. And it's almost like less about the book. I mean, it is, but it's like almost just about this experience of immersing themselves on an Italian vacation and eating the pasta and wearing the clothes and all that. So yeah, I do see, like, if I can ever get myself organized enough, I'm like, oh, I see, once my daughter's a little older, maybe
That's what's tough. Because how old is she now?
She's 5 now.
5, that's what I thought. That's when you can do more stuff. I felt like 6 was like our magic age.
Yeah, I think that this year has been a huge transition to where she doesn't feel like a baby anymore, which is sad. But there's also, she can travel more easily. She can go to restaurants with me. Like she's kind of, her comprehension of things is you can reason with her a little bit more. And so there has been this huge shift where it's becoming really fun. And so I can see some trips in the future with her, I'm bringing her to book signings now and, she's my little buddy. So it's definitely, we're coming into a different phase of life for sure. And I'm very excited for it. As much as I miss my baby, I'm excited for this, next step.
It is tough because I'll do that where I'm like, and they'll be like, don't you like me now? I'm like, I love you now, but you have to understand there was a time that I could hold you and you couldn't talk to me. And it was really nice.
There's no attitude. Yeah.
There was so it was just, I'm like, shouldn't you be glad that I liked all the time of your life? And he's like, yes.
Yeah. Right. So no, absolutely.
But
so
boys as a teenager is a lot different than girls teenagers. So
we are already seeing the girl energy. She's got a little friend group and they're adorable, but they're in kindergarten. There's already like this little, sassiness and attitude and like even some of the girl drama. It's like it happens so early.
And it must be ingrained in us somehow or something.
I know. There's nothing like raising kids to make you realize some of the stuff is just nature. Like it is just the way they are born. Like
And the worst is when it's your bad quality and you see it in the kid. I'm like, oh, dang it. He got that from me. Yeah.
Like, sorry about that.
Yeah, then we do the blame game. He got that from you. No, he got that from you. It's like,
gotta be from dad. Gotta be from dad.
Yeah, that's it. Some of it I know is definitely me. My oldest, he is He's so funny. He's like, "Do you have any drama? Do you have any drama to tell me? I'll tell you my drama." Like, well, I didn't have a daughter, but I had a theater kid, so I guess that's close enough.
Yeah, you got the drama. Yeah, you got the
Yes.
drama.
I was excited though because now I got my first like mom friend in drama. Like he helped me get mom friends. Have you found it hard to make mom friends? It took me till junior year.
Yes and no. So I will say the early years were really difficult. Part of it, I think, was pandemic baby. We moved a lot. Like we moved when she was like 8 months old. We moved to Tennessee where I didn't know anybody. And then we came back to Colorado. We're in Denver now. And I think the early years were the baby years are hard. If you don't have like built in, we didn't have family. I was already living, I'm not from Denver, I'm from San Francisco. So I already didn't have like a built in network. I was still kind of trying to like make friends. And then we had the baby and then we moved. So it definitely took me until really she was going to preschool. I lucked out that we have a really nice network of moms at our school. It's a very close knit school. She goes to the international school, and which it started at 3. And I think the benefit was that almost all of the parents were strangers in a strange land. So everybody was looking for friends. I think one of the things you run into is people have their own networks and it can be hard to like break in. But I kind of found my kind of group of misfits who also were, here in Denver, didn't know anyone. So we've been very fortunate for that. But I will say one of the things which is so great, Sarah, about you and I is it can be hard to find mom friends who are also in the book world or writing or in a similar phase or, just creators in general, because it's a very odd world that we live in. Book people we're our own breed, right? And our schedules are weird and just the things that we're into are different than maybe your average, 9-to-5 job or, white collar job. And so sometimes even though my mom friends are great, they don't always get me,
It's hard. It's definitely a different lifestyle. Or they'll be like, "You travel all the time." I'm like, "You don't see the back end of that where there's
Yeah.
I can't get the words down, all that. Like it's
sitting in the editing cave. Yeah. Just
hating everything you write until it comes out. You like it for a day and then it's back to, I got to write another. Like it's a system.
It's a unique career. Yes, it is. Yeah. So,
well, and two, I think that I don't like the moms that are just moms. No offense to them, but where they're like, "Now, how do we talk about our feelings?" Like they always sound like a teacher with their kids, and I'm like, "Oh God, that's not good."
It can be hard when you don't feel like you have just shared things to talk about. Because look, I love my daughter, her name's Zephyr. I love her to death, but I don't always want to talk about her, and I love my friends' kids, but I don't want to always, I want that to be our only conversation really is like, nighttime diapers and wiping butts. And it's like, you need a break. Well,
those are the people I think that the kids leave the house and they end up getting divorced a lot of the time because they didn't work on having their own identity past being somebody's parent.
I agree. And, raising a daughter, not that raising a son is different, but I do see that I really want her to have a strong self of agency. And I think that starts with me. I want her to not be afraid to prioritize herself, prioritize her self-care, her wants, her needs, like her desires. And I know so many moms that out of an abundance of just like love and giving and, the way moms are, we run the world. Sorry, everybody, but
it's true.
They just lose themselves. I think even working mothers they sacrifice their, I don't know how many moms I don't even know the last time I showered or, oh God, I like desperately need a pedicure or massage. My back is seized up. And so many of us don't prioritize our own well-being out of love, for our families. But I want Zephyr to grow up knowing it's okay to say like, no, this is what I need, what I want. Like I'm standing up for myself. Like I feel good about myself. So that's been actually very motivating to me to focus on my career. And sometimes it's hard when like, Author Nation, I was there for 6 days without her and that was tough. But both my husband and I were like, no, it's important that she sees that your career is really important and that, sometimes you're going to prioritize that and that's okay.
Well, and also that's her legacy. You know what I mean? Like you're leaving a legacy for her and her children. If
right.
She has them.
I hopefully girl, you'll be getting some royalties off this forever, hopefully.
That's it. So, and you're setting a good example. I think having a daughter, especially, you have to
Yeah.
not set yourself on fire to keep everybody warm.
Yeah, agreed. Well said.
But it is tough because you do feel guilty prioritizing yourself.
It is, and it can be hard to know what to balance for sure. I mean, my husband and I are constantly evolving, and like how our life looks so different before we had kids, and two working parents with demanding careers. And how do you, I mean, balance? It's like, how did I used to somehow have time to, get my weekly manicures and my massages and go out for cocktails and do all this stuff? I'm like, suddenly I have no time ever. Like this
Right?
one little creature has just upended our lives so much.
Well, it's tough when they're, like I said, when they're little, it's so tough. It's nice now we have a built-in babysitter.
Yeah.
He was my I had security at my party, this Christmas party we just had, and I had him block off because everyone comes to our neighborhood for Christmas lights. So I was like, block off this parking lot by the clubhouse. And he was like taking it so seriously. He's like, will you send me a list of your friends that are going to be here? I don't think they're supposed to be there. And then he's like, some guy said he lives here. I go, I don't give a fuck if he says he lives here. He can go park. And he's like, don't worry, Mom. I went and told him he needed to go. So it was just so nice. I'm like, oh.
I love that. The advantage of boys.
I had to pay him, but yeah, that's kids for you.
Yeah.
So what's the next trip you have planned? Enough kids. Boring.
I know, right? Gosh, I say we don't want to talk about our kids, and then that's all we talk about. The next thing on my agenda, I will be going to the San Francisco Writers Conference in February to host a series of panels. I'm hosting 5 panels of various like self-publishing, independent publishing pros. It's very exciting because we're talking about people who are really doing things outside the box. It's no longer just upload a book to KDP or whatever. People are, Kickstarter, like turning books into film, just taking on co-writers, like doing all kinds of outside, selling direct on TikTok. And so we've really expanded the panel this year to talk about not just like, it's not just go traditional or go KDP. I mean, there's just this whole new world of how you can get your content out there, which is really exciting. So so I'll be doing that in February. And then I have no idea. And then I think I'm in the writing cave. I don't know if I'm going to travel for a while because I have like 4 contracts to fulfill next year. So.
Well, it is the year of the horse. So we're all going to work like horses and make money because this year sucked ass. There were highs and lows. There were very high highs, very low lows, I felt like.
I agree. And I think there was a lot of uncertainty. The world feels a bit dark right now and a bit challenging, and maybe whether or not it really is, or we're all just more aware of it. But I do feel like positivity was low, energy was low. People were worried, and I look forward to a clean slate next year, and hopefully it's the first year in another 9-year cycle. So we have, if you know anything about like portals and numerology, and sorry, I'm very woo-woo to all of our listeners.
I love it. Continue. I had my TM teacher on. Yeah.
Yeah. This was the last year. This was year 9. And so it's a year where like things culminate, and it's like good and bad. It can be like a quantum year for a lot of people. And so it makes sense that there was a lot of release for me, like kind of moving on from some friendships, moving on from some things professionally, and kind of next year is now the seed year for that next cycle. So we'll see. Like I'm looking forward to like, planting new things. And
I love
you're looking at me with such surprise, Sarah.
I'm all in. I'm all in on this, Amanda. Anything you say, I'm just like, I love you even more. Can you stop being so amazing? God.
She's my biggest fan. I'm just, what would I do without Sarah?
Here's the deal. I can absolutely see how I could be seen as a mean girl, because believe me, if somebody crossed you, they're going to be sad that they were born. Like
very loyal.
Loyal, that's it. And if somebody's nice to me, I'm nice to them. But if somebody's mean to me, then fuck you. They're not my people.
We can run into that. I think it's interesting. The author community is so incredible. I mean, I genuinely believe we have some of the greatest people in the world that are so generous and just willing to reach a hand down and help up somebody who, is just starting out or whatever. But I don't know if it's that authors There's a lot of mix of personalities. We're dramatic by nature, perhaps, because that's what we do for a living. But the drama tends to erupt. And we see it. There can be some nastiness. I mean, I don't know what it's about for people, but we do get those kind of the mob comes after people, and cancel culture is alive and well. I and I think I don't know. It's not that it doesn't hurt when it happens to you, but I almost think like you just can't give your energy to it. Like if someone's going to start rumors, if they're going to be mean, I mean, obviously, if it's really affecting your career, that's serious. But if it's just people starting drama, I think you just have to move on. Just let it go and be like, okay, there are 2,000 other people at this conference. Like, I don't need to sit next to you. It's fine. You know?
It's just so weird though. Like, and I've never been on the other end of it where I'm like, no, I know what they're saying isn't true. I don't, where I was like, this is verifiable for me that none of this is true. And it doesn't care. It doesn't matter how many people tell me that. And that's kind of nice though, because I'm like, I know who I am. I know who I surround myself with.
And it makes you think twice when you do hear gossip about other people, where you're like, well, I don't know what I don't know, but I'm not going to just take you at your word that this is a thing, because I've seen just false things said about myself, about people in my life, other friends, other authors. And so I think we have to be really mindful about jumping on the bandwagon of that kind of gossip, I think.
Oh, absolutely. This is not a Me Too moment, people. This is not. This is drama. They're just jealous. So
Absolutely.
I can totally picture all of your books, like a Netflix, like
school.
Right? Like, can't you just, oh my God, how do you get in with that?
I do have that's a really hard I mean, it's a long process. Sometimes it's just pure luck. Sometimes, you see those books that get adapted after 20 years. And it's really just, you have to find the right person that believes in the project and then can get funding and then can get all the things. So we do have some interested people attached to my work that work in Hollywood. Yay. So we'll see, everything is still very early days, because really the books have only been out. The whole brand has only really existed for like 2 years. So, things are still early days for a lot of it, but we do have some people who love it. They do feel like it is right for that kind of Netflix rom-com, escapist, vibe. And so we'll see. Like, I think right now the person who's attached is sort of shopping to see if we can get a bigger studio attached, and then you would option it and then get greenlit down the road. So we'll see. I'm very hopeful, managing expectations, but I'm very hopeful. I have these moments where I'm like, I can't even believe I'm here, like in a position where someone's even considering my books for film. Like, that's wild to me. I mean, wild. I have wanted to write books since I was like 5 years old. So to even be in this position it's absolutely a dream. So,
but you manifested it, and good things come to good people.
Well, thank you. I try. I would say, not that we're giving advice, but if I ever were to give advice, it's just like, you just can't quit. You have to you just got to pivot, try new things. Is like my third pen name. I have tried so many genres, and you just never know the thing that's going to feel aligned and resonate with your audience. And I think you have those people who's like, write to market, do all these things. There's all the best practices. But at the end of the day, like sometimes amazing books just never see the light of day, or never see film. And all you can do is just like not stop. You don't fail until you stop.
Well, that's quitting. We're not quitters, Amanda. We don't.
I know it can be really hard if you have financial considerations or whatever, but if you can just burn the midnight oil, if you can just not stop,
Well, that's it. People, Drew used to write at 3 a.m. before he had to go to work at 7.
Yeah. Spent I remember having Zephyr strapped to me in the middle of the night, nursing, and then just like trying to write, just trying to squeeze it in. And yeah. I used to write on my lunch break, and back when I worked in the corporate world, I would just like sneak away into like an office that wasn't being used, and just like on my lunch break, just try to like write, and, not telling anyone, because I was embarrassed when I first started writing. I'm like, I didn't want to tell anyone I was writing a book.
Why that. That's
No, I was like,
exciting.
I had a lot of hangups. Like, even though I knew it was exactly what I wanted to do, I mean, I'm not joking, it's from the time I was little, but somewhere along the road, you just kind of like lose your confidence, or
The world
I
knocks
had
you
that,
down enough.
yeah. And then I also, I had that sort of mental block of like, this is for other people. Other people will succeed at this. I'm not ever gonna write a book. Like, what? And I thought if I told people, they would be like, oh, that's cute that you're even trying, and then if like, what if I wrote it and it never got published? And then I was just like that loser who like, wrote a book and couldn't get it published, which is all nonsense. Like, don't listen, that's how I felt, but it's all, I know better right now, but it took me forever to tell people like, hey, I wrote a book actually. Like,
What year was this that you got started writing?
like seriously writing, I published for the first time at the very end of 2014.
Wow,
So
so a long time.
I had been writing like in secret for years. I mean, I had written something in college. Like, I'm glad that never saw the light of day, but I was trying. I was like actively trying to write a book for a lot of years. Life got busy. I went to grad school. Like, I was working the corporate game pretty early. So I was busy. And then you just kind of have a social life or whatever. But by the time when I was around 28, I was like, you know what? I gotta do this. This is my dream. Like, what am I doing? A friend of mine got a job like working as an agent in Hollywood, the guy I'd gone to school with. And I was like, wow, like, okay, so people that I know are doing cool things.
Oh,
Like,
definitely. I'm in that orbit.
yeah, like I can do cool things. And so it kind of like motivated me, like, yeah, go do this. And so, yeah, that was the very end of 2014. And it was actually like a YA dystopian book, because it was very, very like Hunger Games was all the rage, and, Divergent and those things. And it was a lot of fun, but I wrote like a little trilogy, and I was like, this isn't really where I want to live in the YA space. So I really didn't write much. I mean, it took me like, I think from 2014 to 2018, I only wrote like 2 books. Or only wrote that one trilogy, I think. So it was 3 books in those like 4 years. So I was really slow, and I just was trying to figure out what I was doing. And then 2018, I really hit the ground running, writing mystery thrillers. So that was when things really like took off, and when I like quit working an outside job, that kind of thing.
That's huge. So you've been full time for quite a while now.
I have been, yeah. I'm very lucky. We're a dual income, so I have a very supportive husband. I don't have to worry about doing it all on my own. But yes, I have not looked back since 2018. There have been some moments where I've wanted to, like where I was like, I can't do this anymore, and maybe they'll hire me back at my old firm.
It's always so funny. That's where your mind goes, because mine's the same thing. I'm like, I'm just going to go back to selling clothes.
Yeah,
I'm
like
done. They'll take me back.
Or the emotional toll of this job can definitely be intense.
Well, and it's tough too, because you're alone. You're writing this book. You don't know if people will like it. And then it comes out, and it's not like you're a performer on stage where you're hearing the applause and stuff. This is things trickling in.
Yes. Yes. And not every book hits. I mean, you can have like a crazy bestseller, and then the next one just flops, and it's not always. I have friends that will tell me that have huge publishing deals, with big 5 publishers, and they're like, yeah, I mean, this one was like New York Times bestseller, and then the next one flopped so bad they dropped me. And it's just like, so this world can be very fickle. That's why I'm like, don't stop, just don't stop, because
Yeah.
you never know. The next one could be the one, and
Like, what's the plan now? Like, are we going to do more pen names? We're going to co-author. Like, what do you think like is in your future?
yeah. So this year was great. I kind of have moved into, I guess, a more like traditional writing space, meaning I'm now contracted with Simon & Schuster, which is a dream. But it's very different than writing independently, because you now have really long lead times. Traditional big publishers take a long time. But you have like a team of editors, and it's just like it's a whole different space. So it's a bit slower. You're not, good and bad, like depending on how you write. You're not like, right now, I don't have anything due to them until 2027.
Oh
So I'm
my
like
God.
very,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, our lead times are like, wow, okay, the book's already like edited and done, and it's kind of wild. But I will be writing more books for Simon and Schuster, hopefully. Everything is kind of dependent on how the first contract goes, but we're manifesting huge things. So if all goes well, then I would be writing 1 or 2 books a year for them under the June Patrick name. And then I actually did just enter into a co-writing deal for thrillers again, which I haven't written a thriller since like 2022, so it's been a while. But I've been wanting to go back into it, and I met with a fellow writer in Vegas, thanks to Sarah. She introduced us, and pretty big deal guy, and we shared a vision on a series idea, and so we worked it out. We've kind of been going back and forth, and we finally agreed on, like 2 books for next year. And then, if they go well, just keep that series going. He writes some of these series are 10, 15 books with some of his co-writers. So yes, I'm really excited. So I'll kind of be announcing more of that later.
Oh yeah, no. We don't, we're good. There's more to come, but I will say I was there when these two met, and it was like,
you were. It was it was professional sparks.
It was professional sparks, yes. But it was very much where I was like, oh.
And personality. We connected.
That was magnet, yes. It was very like similar. And I was like, oh, yes, this works.
Yeah, it was really happy. And I want to tell you a quick sidebar about that, because this year, Author Nation, so I normally have some friends that I pal around with. Sarah and I have worked together kind of remotely for the last year, but this was the first time we'd really hung out. And normally I kind of have people that I pal around with at Author Nation, but we had a bit of a falling out, just some things, just some things. And so I kind of went into it like, okay, I was working with Susan Joe and going to be working with you, but I didn't really have an agenda about who I was going to spend my week with other than the team. And because of that, it opened me up to meeting, new co-writing deals and sitting at dinner with very high-end people. Very successful people that I don't know, maybe I never would have sat next to had I been with this little cohort before. And so I really do think that kind of clearing space, things falling apart to make space for huge things to come, your way. So when you introduced us, it was like, hey, come to this VIP party, come do this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I have no agenda. I can do that,
Well, I was loving it because he's like, thank you. I'm like, no problem. Yeah. I love seeing people get along. Oh, it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's the best part about our industry is people like you who are willing to just bring people together.
Well, that's how I've always been. I felt I would call myself the island of broken toys. I'd be like, come here, and let's make our friend group. And they're like, who? And they'll always be telling stories about someone crazy. They're like, who brought her in the group? And everyone's like, it was Sarah. I'm like, it was. I'm sorry. I felt bad. I didn't know she was a narcissist. They're just attracted to me.
Well, at least you're trying. You're trying. You're giving people shots, and
and I shouldn't. Sometimes I shouldn't. That's how I'm done. I've decided I'm done with the neighborhood.
I understand. My therapist has informed me that I can be a bit of a trauma magnet for people. And she's like, it's probably being a writer. You are naturally attracted to people who have some baggage. And I think there's probably some truth to that, because being a writer, we kind of thrive on the human experience, right?
Oh, yeah.
If everybody was just super vanilla and happy, we'd have nothing to write about.
You're like, what? Tell me that shitty story again. Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me hear all the damage. Yeah.
But also it's kind of cathartic for you too. I don't know. It is for me when people do it.
Yes.
I had a Lyft drive, and by the end, I knew her life story. She's going to be foreclosed. And I went in, they're like, oh, you just got here. I'm like, oh yeah, with Tiffany. And I told them their life story, and they're like, this happens to you all the time. I'm like, yes, but I start just rambling on.
Lyft drivers tell the craziest stories. If you ever want to be humbled by people's experiences, woof.
Well, I got in that accident with that Lyft driver, and then she was on the phone and she's like, oh, this is my 3rd accident. I was like, stop talking. Yeah. She's gonna get sued, and she got fired from Lyft. I felt so bad.
That might have been a good thing that she got fired.
I think so. When I heard the 3 accidents, I was like, oh, of course my friend booked the lift with the 3 accidents. Of course, this all tracks.
Yeah.
And that friendship blew up right before I met you as well. So I was like, oh, not a replacement because you're irreplaceable. No one could ever compare to you. But in same like energy vibe, like she was the most like me. And I was like, God, why'd she end up having to be a piece of shit liar? Like, I hate the lying. Why do people lie?
Yeah. Yeah, they've got their demons, right? They've got their demons. And I think sometimes, I don't know, like this is again, you know me, I'm like the positive side of this whole thing, right? I do think sometimes you just don't, people just no longer serve you. And it doesn't always have to be this big dramatic breakup. It can just be like, we're just not aligned anymore. Maybe that person's like energetically holding you back. Our industry can be very competitive. I don't think people want to admit it, but I mean, there's billions of readers. There's plenty of room for all of us, but it can feel like only so few people make it to the top. And I think sometimes it can be a little crabs in a bucket, that analogy. People start tearing people down, and it doesn't really serve anyone. And I think sometimes you just have to like gently let people go from your orbit, to make space. And I don't know. It's weird how that happens, but
You're right, because I would also be the type of person when I'm like, this is my friend forever now. And that's taken me getting older, realizing that they were a
yeah.
season in my life. They were this and that. And not everybody needs to be forever.
Yes. Yeah. And I used to be like that too. I mean, it's probably a youthful thing where you have these friends, like, you met in college and you're just like, no, we're going to be friends forever. And they might be perfectly fine, but they just, your lives diverge, or maybe they aren't fine. Maybe they're a little toxic and you're just like afraid to let them go because you've known them for 20 years. I had a friend who, no hard feelings, but she just went down a bad path, and we had known each other since we were 19. And I finally just had to be like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't have you in my life anymore. It's just like, I wish you the best, but.
But they're also then an albatross around your neck if you don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we said too, is we're not hanging out with people anymore. If we come home and are talking shit about them, we're not hanging out with them anymore.
Yeah, I think if you don't have anything nice to say, then that's probably a sign, and
that we don't want to bitch. Like, or we'd like, I do it to myself, and I'd look at the old friend's Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, can you believe she posted this? And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It doesn't matter what she posted. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I get it. I can sound as enlightened as I want to sound, but we are all subject to like, gossip and like Googling our exes late at night and, all the things like.
Oh my God, speaking of ex, you will not believe who texted me on Thanksgiving. My ex-husband.
Wow, I didn't think you talked to him.
I don't. He was blocked after the election because he voted for the wrong side, even though he benefited from my abortion. That's right, Ryan Salyer, you benefited from my abortion. And I don't care that I had one. I'm not a Christian.
She doesn't hold back.
So he sends me like Monica with the chicken on her head at Thanksgiving. And he's like, Happy Thanksgiving. And I was like, Happy Thanksgiving? Like, I was going to be nice.
Maybe he's feeling reflective, or.
Well, he found out my parents died.
Oh,
but then I was like, was this a conversation around that family's table that year? Like, remember Aunt Sarah, the first one? Her parents died. Or did somebody pull him aside in the kitchen and was like, her parents died? It was just, the whole thing was very weird to me.
It is weird when I have an ex-husband too, from when I was young. And we don't talk, but no hard feelings, whatever. But it is kind of weird to have this like person that used to be in your life, and then all of a sudden they're not. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, there used to be this whole other life, and kind of like friends, but I mean, a little bit.
But even more serious.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you don't have kids, or it's a different story if you have like an ex with children, but. This kind of like, that's right. We used to be married in our 20s. Like, that's a thing.
I blocked it out. It's like prison. I don't remember. I can't tell you one holiday we spent together. I can't tell you on vacation. Any jokes, like literally nothing. It is like flashes of like an old TV show. That's how much I like disassociated from this person. Then when he was messaging, he wanted to continue messaging me. He's like, my wife got a 3 times raise. I'm like, oh, cool. Is she gonna retire you? Oh no, now it's a competition. I have to beat her. And I was like, oh yeah, I know all too well. Some things never change.
Some things never change, and then you're reminded. Sometimes those are your universal reminders of why you moved on.
But then it's also where I'm like, I was married to that. Like, then I spiraled. I was that desperate to get out of my mom's house. That's all I tell myself. How desperate were you that was your best option?
Well, we're very different people when we're young, too, I think. I mean, I don't know if you feel this way, but I'm 43 now, or I'm about to be 43. I'm not quite there, but I'm in 2 weeks.
Oh!
Right. And it's funny because a lot of people will be like, oh, getting older. How do you feel? You okay? And I'm like, actually, I'm great. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, turning 40 was like a little weird, but I actually feel so much more in tune with who I am now. I mean, sure, my back hurts a little bit and I have like a sciatic nerve pinch. Like, I don't know what's happening.
Whatever.
But yeah, right. But I also feel just like, I don't know. I know who I am now. And not to say that I don't have insecurities. I certainly do, but nothing like the person I was at like 24, right? I have just such a stronger sense of self. I just get less worked up about things. People offend me a lot less because I don't really give a anymore.
Yeah.
Especially like having a kid too, because like my whole perspective changed on what matters, I guess. And I think it's actually very freeing to be in your 40s.
It's called your fuck it 40s.
Yeah. Is that the official term, Sarah? Is it?
Yeah, it's your fuck it 40s.
Well, yeah, I really just feel, and I see, remember when we were in Vegas and we saw this group of young women and they looked like they were, I mean, they had to have been like 22. Do you remember? And they were by the elevators. They're all kind of decked out and very like,
oh yeah, the cheap dress. Yeah.
And I say this not with like judgment because we've all been there. I mean, God, you should have seen me in the early aughts. Not cute.
Yeah.
But like, it's just this funny realization where you're like, oh wow, I've grown so much in the last 20 years as a person, as a woman. And I don't know, just like my sense of self is not, it's just so different now. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
we're on the same page with this because it is. And I felt like I was trying to figure out who I was in my 20s and I was trying on like, I'm going to do what my parents told me to do. I'm going to try this. And then once you just kind of start living your authentic life, it is like, go ahead and think what you want to think about me. It doesn't matter to me anymore because I know. I also appreciate knowing more. I feel more at authority. Like, I don't know, when you're young, I'm totally picturing those girls now. And it is like, I wouldn't go back there for all the money in the world.
No. I mean, in hindsight, there's things I wish I could go back and knowing what I know.
Yeah. And fix, clearly.
Also, I don't know. But I also I think I'm the person that I am because I had to go through all the ups and downs and the heartbreak. I think I'm the writer that I am. I mean, I look back at the writing I did in my 20s and it was, it was good for my experience, who I was in that moment. But it was very young. Like my perspective of the world was just different, right? And now I'm writing books about love and life in my 40s, and my female characters and my male characters, even though I'm writing, my characters are younger than I am. They're around 30 because that tends to be the market. That's kind of like the trending age. I think for like the rom-com women's fiction. I think people
they're
like
not too old. They don't want old hags anymore.
They're still young enough to it's reasonable that they're not like married with kids yet, right? Yeah. But then they're not so young that they're like children. So anyway, writing that age is good. It's fine. I feel good writing that age, but they are just becoming like more mature and self-aware and self-efficient as characters because I'm becoming, like
oh, totally.
Yeah. And my husband's always joking though. He's like, you have to be careful. Stop making your young characters sound old though. Like they remember that they're still young, right? Okay, yeah.
Maybe they've had a lot of life experience. I don't know.
It's a little dumb, right? Yeah.
But this is why he does what he does and you do what you do.
He You stay in your office. No,
Yeah.
I was very heavily raised by my grandmother, who was lovely, but I have a lot of like old lady speak, as my husband will say. So sometimes I'll use a word in my writing, and everyone's like, "I'm sorry, people haven't used this word since like 1962." Like,
You're like, I will take that
I'll take it.
butterscotch candy and
Yeah,
shove it
this
up
is
your
why I
ass. Yeah.
don't YA books anymore. 'Cause, like, yeah.
Oh, I
I
couldn't.
said, oh my God, I said I was writing, sometimes you're just doing your first draft or whatever. And I said like, oh, this person's on speed dial. And then I went back, I was like, oh my God, like speed dial, does anyone even know what that is anymore? Like,
But you said it, and I was like, oh yeah, put him on speed. Like
yeah,
I instantly was like, oh
yeah.
yeah.
Looked him up in the yellow pages, obviously.
Yeah. Star 69.
My daughter just they're learning, she's in kindergarten, but they're learning about the old timies, as she calls it. So they went to like a historic park where they saw like old, like
Yeah.
frontier homes and like all this stuff. She goes, Mommy, did you know people couldn't even take their telephones out of the room because it was plugged into the wall? Yeah,
That's what
I
she
know.
took away from old timey.
Yeah.
You're like, did you see him taking a shit out back in that hole? That should really
Yeah,
like,
I mean, telephone. Yeah, even Mommy had telephones like that in the 90s.
But
Yeah,
I think
so
about
funny,
it.
though.
We were talking about like if you went back in time, even though we lived at that time and stuff, I know I'd be like, God damn it, I need to Google something. I don't know the answer to this, and it doesn't exist. Like,
And it's funny, even from a writing perspective, like you realize there's the access to information has made it like it was getting hard to write thrillers because you're like, well, I mean, you always have a cell phone. You're not going to get stranded. You can just look up directions. You're not going to get lost. You're not going to get.
oh yeah, it always
like,
has to be that
technology
there's
has
no
made it a lot harder.
service.
Yeah, it's like, it used to be like, oh, you're stranded in the woods and there's no, this is like, doesn't happen anymore.
Well, now they're just like, oh, there's no signal or my
Yeah, no
battery
signal,
died.
right.
Yeah. Oh,
You have to be in a remote area. Yeah. But no, it is funny. It is
So-
funny.
you started reading. What was your favorite thing to read when you were little? Like what really started the love?
Yeah, so I loved when I was like little, like elementary school age, I absolutely loved historical fiction. I think like a lot of kids, I mean, I was very much I had a bit of a challenging childhood. So I very much wanted to escape, like a lot of kids. So I started out reading a lot of historical fiction. So when I was like really little, my mom read me the Little House on the Prairie books.
Yes.
Back in the 80s. But that really sparked like an interest in history. And so I went on to read a ton of historical fiction. And then I got into fantasy when I was in middle school, high school. I read like the original Game of Thrones books. They came out when I was like 13 or 14 or something. The first, so I read all of those and I got really into fantasy for a while, like big epic fantasy. And then my mom gave me a Nora Roberts trilogy when I want to say I was in high school. I was like 16 or 17. I was still at home. And it was like the one, I don't know if you read much Nora Roberts, but there was a trilogy set in Ireland. And I was like, oh my God, like romance. Like, I don't know. It turned out I was this romantic little girl at heart. And I wanted somebody to take me away, and from all the things.
That's it, girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I guess looking back even in elementary school, I loved Disney, I liked epic romance. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was like my favorite movie when I was like 9, because I loved like the romance of it. So I was always this big tragic romantic at heart. And I was very academic. I mean, I majored in English in college. So I liked reading Shakespeare and stuff in high school. I think books offered me they just offered me an escape. Like I wasn't a particularly popular kid. So I spent a lot of lunches reading by myself.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Okay.
People eating alone is like my trigger point. Like it would make me cry as a child if people were eating alone in restaurants and my mom was a narcissist and she did not understand. I'm like, they're lonely. Do you not understand? And now looking back, I'm like, oh, she literally didn't understand. She didn't. No, she's like, who is this person that I gave birth to that feels bad for other people? And I was like, he's eating alone. His wife probably died. I'm like, 8.
Sarah. Yeah. But no, I mean, but I think there's a lot of us that became writers because we retreated into books when we were little. And so, yeah, I really read all kinds of stuff. And when I got older, I started reading mysteries, thrillers. So I kind of, other than maybe like hard sci-fi or military stuff, very masculine things, I kind of I read a lot. And I tried to continue. I ebb and flow. I go through phases.
It's tough when you have a little one, not to talk about
Yeah,
kids again,
now
but
I'm audiobook central now because it's like you can throw in the audiobook while you're doing stuff with.
that's everybody. And that's huge. And also that's good for you to know and to target with what you write, is because a lot of your readers might be listening to it. And, and that's where the book deal with audio is so important.
Yes, that was really huge to move into audio for the first time this year because I really did feel like it was an untapped market. And I just hadn't gotten there yet with my Jean Patrick stuff. There's a financial commitment, but and I was kind of trying to make sure I had the books were going to stick and everything like that before I made the investment. But also just the time. It was a whirlwind of I cranked out like 6 books in 2 years on the series, and then while having a little one at home and just trying to manage all the things that go into what indie publishing is like, Sarah, and there are just so many moving pieces, and it was just one of those things I just had not gotten to. And I was like, I got to do it because I know I'm missing this whole market of busy commuters, working parents, anyone who just has trouble sitting and reading now. I know we're also like, our attention spans are also short now. It's like,
I know.
Sitting with a physical book can feel like a chore now, even for me, and I love reading.
I do love my Kindle. I did move on to, I couldn't help myself because it was just so easy. And I'm a fast reader and I had insomnia. So I would finish books in the middle of the night and then I could just get a new one.
I like that for the middle of the night reading. Like sometimes my daughter has me up in the middle of the night and I'll be laying next to her and then I can just sit and read on the Kindle. Or traveling. It's great to have travel. I don't judge. I don't judge travel. I'm trying to read more physical books because I want Zephyr to see it. Like the Kindle's great, but I also do feel like it's just one more screen that I'm staring at.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So,
and that's what she sees.
Yeah, that's what she sees. So I've been taking her to the library and picking out like physical books, and trying to sit and like read together. She's not really reading yet independently. So it's, it's more at this point, the motions, the theater of doing it. That way she like sees me getting a book, but hopefully I'll raise an avid reader, a lover of literature. That's the goal. It'll break my heart. If my own daughter doesn't read, it's going to break my heart.
I know. Well, you have a daughter. I think you have a better chance. I love Babysitter Club books. That's what got me through my early childhood. So I like saved them all and I was like, I'm going to give these to my daughter. And then I didn't have a daughter. And I was like, and nobody is going to want these by the time a granddaughter rolls around. She'll be like,
you never know.
That would be historical fiction at that point. The Babysitter's Club would be it'd be so old.
It'll be interesting to see how like the English language changes. I mean, if you pick up a book from the 30s, like the language is different. The way people spoke is different. It'll be interesting to see like by the time our kids are grown, we have grandchildren, like were the books that I'm writing even sound the same, to a modern audience?
Hopefully it's better, not worse. We watched Idiocracy and and I was like, Drew's like, he goes, you're looking at this like very like intensely, and I was like, because it's happening. Do you not? This is where it's going. I was like having like a crisis.
Well, I remember like watching that movie when it came out, and it was funny when it came out. And you're like, oh, that's funny, but now it feels like, oh, that was terrifying. Like,
that's it. It's like The Simpsons and all that. I'm like, oh, they knew. Certain people know. He knew.
Some people knew this was coming. Absolutely. So
let's read some books. Let's travel. Yeah.
Travel.
So
travel is so important.
I think we need to have like a girls' trip.
I would love that. Oh my gosh. And I love what you said, the idea of like organizing like a reader, like Jean Patrick travel group. I love that. Like I have big plans.
Oh, we'll talk. I have a whole thing set up for that. You're included on it. a company's going to be set up that does those things, we'll talk about this off air, but I have big plans. And I'm so genuine when I say meeting you in Las Vegas felt very like kismet, like I met someone who's going to be important to me, who's amazing, who has great energy.
I agree. Our connection was instant, I think. And I'm grateful to Author Nation for bringing us together. And I'm so excited for next year. And it's so, these relationships matter so much. And I'm grateful too.
Yes, we'll have to come see you in Denver, and you'll have to come down here. Come to Scottsdale. Let's do the spa weekend.
I want to come down for a nice spa weekend.
Yes, I'll take you all the nice places. I know all the good bars. Global Ambassador. We'll hook it up.
It'll be fun.
All right. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And everybody go buy June Patrick's books, please.
Yeah. June Patrick, you can find me at junepatrick.com or at June Patrick Author on TikTok and Instagram.
Oh, blow up on that TikTok. Everybody go watch it right now.
There you go. Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's watch go viral. It. Yes. All right. And on that note, don't forget, make today your bitch. I'm Sarah Strickland. Thank you for listening.